In 2025, computer programming employment in the United States plummeted to its lowest level since 1980. We're talking about a 27.5% collapse in just 2 years. Thousands of programmers lost their jobs as AI tools like ChatGPT began writing code faster than humans ever could. Welcome back to AI Handbook channel, where I share AI news videos every day. By the end of this video, you will understand why this programming job crisis is actually the beginning of the greatest opportunity in software development history. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. GitHub CEO Thomas Dohmke, the man who oversees the world's largest developer platform with over 100 million users, says we're actually entering the golden age for developers, not despite AI, but because of it. How can both of these realities exist at the same time? The answer lies in a fundamental shift that most people are completely missing. Thomas Dohmke has been coding since the early 1990s, starting as a teenager in East Germany where he had no internet access. He learned programming from books and magazines, hoping someone would show up at the local computer club who could help him. Today, he leads GitHub, which just announced that their AI coding assistant, Copilot, is now writing 25% of all code in projects where it's enabled. The tool has exploded to over 15 million users, growing 4 times its size in just 12 months. But here's what's fascinating. While traditional programming jobs are disappearing, software development jobs are expected to grow 17% from 2023 to 2033. The distinction matters more than you might think. What's the difference between a programmer and a developer? And why is this distinction about to reshape everything we know about the tech industry? The median programmer earned $99,700 in 2023, compared with $132,270 for the median developer. But the gap isn't just about money, it's about what they actually do. Programmers, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, are essentially human coding machines. You feed them requirements, and code comes out the other end. That sounds an awful lot like what AI chatbots do. Developers, on the other hand, are architects. They design solutions, make complex decisions about frameworks and systems, and solve problems that require human creativity and business understanding. When Dohmke's team first tested GPT-3 for coding in 2020, they asked it to write a JavaScript method to calculate prime numbers. It did it, perfect syntax, logic, everything. That moment was mind-blowing, Dohmke recalls. But there's something most people miss about this breakthrough. With AI, we will soon realize a world where anyone can create software just as easily as uploading a video to TikTok, Dohmke predicts. The starting point will often be a prompt written in natural language. This democratization is already happening. AI-powered coding works in multiple languages, so kids can learn to code in their native tongue. AI has infinite patience. Unlike teachers or coworkers, it never criticizes, just keeps improving answers. But here's where Dohmke's vision gets really interesting. He believes this accessibility won't replace developers, it will create an army of them. Think about it. When YouTube made video creation accessible to everyone, did it kill the film industry? No. It exploded the demand for video content and created entirely new categories of creators. But what about the fear that AI will simply automate everything? Dohmke has a surprising answer to this.
I don't think we're anywhere close to a world where you can just write a single prompt and say, build GitHub, and then an AI agent builds all of the features, Dohmke explains. Why? Because building real software requires thousands of complex decisions. What frameworks to use, which programming languages, how to handle security, whether to use cloud services. Decisions that require understanding business needs, user experience, and market dynamics. What happens when bugs and vulnerabilities are introduced to the source code or the software breaks? Every person who builds software will need to be able to maintain their own software as well, Dohmke emphasizes. There's also something else happening that most people don't realize. I said this morning that 90% of code will be written by agents, but if the total amount of code grows 10x, the developer still writes the same amount they did before. There's just more work overall, Dohmke revealed in a recent interview. AI isn't clearing backlogs, it's creating new possibilities and more work. But there's one crucial skill that will separate thriving developers from the rest. Notably, many developers now entering the workforce are AI native, so to speak. They've been using AI at college and university. These new developers bring skills like prompt engineering and an intuitive understanding of what AI can and cannot do. But Dohmke warns against a dangerous trap. Saying we no longer need coding education because of AI is like saying math became obsolete when calculators were invented. It doesn't add up. The key is learning to work alongside AI, not being replaced by it. I think actually that's one of the true superpowers of AI. Whether it's learning to code or exploring the world, you have an assistant available to you that has infinite patience, Dohmke notes. So what does this mean for someone starting their career today? It's the most exciting time to be a developer, Dohmke declares. The dream of software development was always that I can take the idea in my head on a Sunday morning and by the evening have the app running on my phone. Now that dream is closer to reality. He believes the smartest companies won't use AI to shrink teams. Instead, they'll hire more developers to harness AI's multiplying effect. I haven't seen a single company say, we've finished everything on our backlog thanks to AI. If anything, AI is creating more possibilities and more work. But here's the part that might surprise you. Dohmke is particularly bullish about junior developers. While many companies have frozen entry-level hiring, GitHub is doing the opposite. Why is GitHub doubling down on hiring junior developers when everyone else is cutting back? They come in with the latest learnings from colleges, diverse backgrounds, and a willingness to experiment, Dohmke explains. The folks that are younger in career bring a new perspective to the team and say, why don't we try this? Or, I want to incubate this idea. GitHub runs multiple internship programs, and these interns get a full-time offer at the end of the internship, or maybe they come back for a second year. It's lovely to see those folks that bring fresh ideas, a great amount of energy, and the latest learnings from college and university. The reason is simple. AI native developers understand both the possibilities and limitations of these tools in ways that previous generations might not have. But what about the elephant in the room? Autonomous AI agents. I don't like the term autonomous because I think autonomous, at least in my understanding, means the thing figures out itself what it should work on. That's not how these things work. They have a level of autonomy, then you assign a task to them, Dohmke clarifies. So we're definitely far away from full self-driving, if you take cars as a metaphor here, but we are certainly getting into more driver assistance systems. And as developers, we have always automated whatever we can automate, right? This measured perspective stands in stark contrast to more alarmist predictions. While Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei suggested that around half of white-collar entry-level jobs could be wiped out by AI in the coming years, Dohmke sees a different future. So what's the ultimate takeaway for anyone watching this? The collapse of traditional programming jobs isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning of a new chapter. While basic coding tasks get automated, the demand for people who can solve complex problems, think creatively, and bridge the gap between human needs and AI capabilities is exploding. Instead of encouraging kids not to code, I am convinced that every country and school system should introduce universal coding classes beginning at an early age. Coding should be a core part of our global educational curriculum, just like literacy, math, history, physics, and arts, Dohmke argues. The future belongs to those who can dance with AI, not those who try to compete against it or ignore it entirely. Are you ready to embrace this new era of development? The tools are here, the opportunities are multiplying, and, according to the CEO of the world's largest developer platform, we're just getting started.